Hello, everyone, and welcome to our daily English learning podcast. I'm Alex, your teacher. Nothing beats the feeling of stepping into a new restaurant and seeing all the delicious options, right? But sometimes, those first few moments like greeting the staff can feel intimidating in English.
And I'm Emma, your learning partner. I remember one time I froze when the waiter asked, "How many people?" I just stared, completely blanking on what to say. So, what's the best way to respond and start things off smoothly?
It's simpler than it seems, I promise. When you walk in, the waiter usually greets you with something like, "Good evening. How many people?" You can answer, "2 people, please," or however many are in your group.
That sounds manageable. So even if I'm alone, it's fine to just say, "1 person, please," right?
Exactly. You could even practice it in your head while you wait. And if you're with a big group, just swap in the right number. Super handy for any occasion.
You know, after answering about the number of people, I always wondered what comes next. Sometimes I get nervous, like, am I supposed to just stand there or do something else?
Great question. Usually the waiter will say something like, "This way, please," or "Follow me." That's your cue to walk with them to your table. It's a little moment of trust they're guiding you to your seat.
I like that it feels a bit fancy, honestly. Once we sit down, do we need to say anything special, or is a simple thank you enough?
A polite thank you is perfect. It shows appreciation, and it's a small gesture that goes a long way in English-speaking places.
I'll keep that in mind. Those little words really do make interactions friendlier.
So, picture this. You're sitting at your table, and the waiter hands you a menu. What do you think is a good way to respond?
I'd probably just give a quick smile and say, "Thank you." It feels natural and polite. Plus, it gives me a second to look over the menu without pressure.
That's exactly right. Saying thank you keeps things friendly and respectful. English really values those little words like please and thank you, especially in service situations.
Honestly, I notice when someone forgets to use them, it makes such a difference. It's like a secret ingredient for good communication. Once I have the menu, sometimes I feel lost. There are too many choices. What should I do if I have no idea what to order or want to try something local?
You're not alone. That's a perfect time to ask, "What do you recommend?" Or "What is special today?" Waiters are usually happy to share the best dishes or something unique from the kitchen.
That takes the pressure off. I love hearing about the specials. It's like getting an insider tip, and it helps you discover dishes you might not notice otherwise.
Exactly. Plus, it keeps the conversation going and shows you're interested. Sometimes, you might get a great story about the chef's favorite meal or a dish made just for that night.
You know, after hearing all these examples, I feel a lot more confident. Should we try out a quick role play for our listeners to follow along?
Definitely. Let's walk through the steps. I'll be the waiter, you'll be the customer. Ready?
Bring it on. I'll start. "Good evening. 2 people, please."
This way, please. Pause. Here is your menu.
"Thank you. What do you recommend?"
Our special today is pasta. See? That's the rhythm you greet. Respond. Use polite words and ask questions. The more you practice, the more natural it feels.
That practice round made a huge difference. I feel like I could actually do this in real life now. Next time, I want to learn how to order food politely once I've chosen.
We'll definitely cover that. Ordering food has its own set of useful phrases, and we'll break them down step by step so you sound confident and friendly.
Can't wait. Maybe next episode we can even talk about how to ask for the bill or deal with tricky situations, like changing your order at the last minute.
Absolutely, I think our listeners will love that. Until then, try practicing today's phrases out loud. Little by little, it really helps build confidence. All right, let's imagine we've just sat down at a restaurant and the menus are in our hands. What's the very first thing we do when we're ready to order?
You know, it always feels a bit awkward at first, but it's super simple. If you're ready, you just catch the waiter's attention and say, "We are ready to order." But if you need a little more time, you can politely ask, "We need a few more minutes, please."
Oh, I love that. It's such a clear and friendly way to let them know. No need to wave your arms or anything, just those words work.
That's the beauty of it. The waiter usually picks up on that right away and comes over to help. It makes the whole process feel much smoother, don't you think?
So after we've let them know we're ready, the waiter will probably say, "What would you like to eat?" That's our cue. But what's the best way to respond so we sound both clear and polite?
Honestly, 2 main phrases work wonders. "I would like" and "can I have?" For example, you might say, I would like a sandwich, or can I have some pasta, please? Both are polite and sound friendly.
That's helpful. Saying, I would like, just feels so courteous. I guess it avoids sounding too direct, right?
Exactly. It's all about softening your request a little, and adding please at the end is like the cherry on top. It makes your English really shine in these situations.
You know, it's one thing to talk about it, but another to actually use these phrases. Could we do a quick practice for listeners?
Absolutely. Let's say a few together. Repeat after us. I would like a sandwich. Can I have some pasta, please? I would like some rice and chicken. That rhythm is so helpful, isn't it?
It really is. Getting those words out loud makes them stick. By the way, most restaurants are happy to help if you're polite, even if you trip over a word or two.
I've noticed that too. Waiters appreciate when you try. Plus, a smile or a please can smooth over any little language mix-ups.
Now, here's a situation that always pops up ordering drinks. The waiter might ask, would you like something to drink? What's a simple way to answer?
There are a couple of go-tos. If you want a drink, you might say, yes, I'd like a glass of water, or I'd like some juice, please. And if you don't want anything, a simple no thank you is totally fine.
I love how easy that is. Yes, I'd like a coffee. Or no thank you. That covers basically every situation, doesn't it?
Pretty much. Keeping it short but polite works every time. I find it takes the pressure off, especially if you're nervous about speaking English in public.
Let's bring all of this together. Want to try a full example dialogue, just like a real restaurant scenario?
That's a great idea. I'll be the waiter, and you can play the customer. Ready?
Ready.
Are you ready to order?
Yes. We are ready to order.
What would you like to eat?
I would like vegetable soup and fried rice.
Would you like something to drink?
Yes, I'd like a glass of juice, please.
Sure, anything else?
No, that's all. Thank you.
All right, I'll bring your order soon.
That flowed so naturally. Practicing the whole exchange really helps build confidence. Looking back, those main phrases like, I'm ready to order, I would like, and can I have, are such lifesavers. Anything else people should remember when ordering food?
There's one golden rule. Never underestimate the power of please and thank you. Politeness makes your English sound not just correct, but genuinely welcoming.
That really makes sense. Saying, can I have a sandwich, please? Just feels so much warmer than a blunt, give me a sandwich.
Exactly. English speakers notice and appreciate that gentle tone. Remember, a little courtesy makes every meal and conversation a lot more enjoyable.
Well, now I feel totally ready to walk into any restaurant and order with confidence. Can't wait to dive into asking about ingredients or spice levels next time. All right, Emma, before our food arrives, I always notice people get a bit nervous about asking what's actually in a dish. It can feel awkward, but it's really important, right?
Oh, totally. There have been so many times I've looked at a menu and had no idea if the food was spicy or if it had something I couldn't eat. Even just asking, is it vegetarian, can make a big difference.
Exactly. And sometimes it's not just about preferences. People might have allergies. So questions like, does it contain nuts, are actually super necessary. I think more folks should feel comfortable being curious about what's on their plate.
Absolutely. And honestly, most waiters seem happy to help if you just ask politely. I used to worry I was being annoying, but now I realize it's just a normal part of eating out.
That reminds me, let's talk about what to say if you want something changed. Like if you're not into spicy food. How do you usually handle that?
Well, if I see chicken curry on the menu, I'll ask, is the chicken curry spicy? If the answer is yes, I follow up with, can you make it less spicy, please? It's simple, but it totally works.
That's a great strategy, and adding please keeps it nice and friendly. You can also ask things like, how is this cooked? Or, what's the special dish today? It's such an easy way to get more info, or maybe try something new.
I love that. Actually, sometimes when I'm not sure what to order, I just ask, what do you recommend? It's like getting a little insider tip from someone who knows the menu best.
Let's put this into practice. Imagine you're ordering pasta and want to check the ingredients and make a request. What would you say?
All right, I'd start with, "Excuse me, what's in this pasta?" And if they say it has mushrooms, I'd politely ask, "Can you make it without mushrooms?" Just being direct but nice about it.
Spot on. And if you're worried about spice, just throw in, is it spicy? Or if you're totally lost, what's popular here? All of these keep the conversation natural.
It honestly makes things way less stressful, and now I feel like I can walk into any restaurant and ask for what I want or need. That's a confidence boost for sure.
On that note, sometimes menus have words that are totally unfamiliar. I always tell people it's fine to ask, what does this mean? No shame in it at all.
Yeah, like the first time I saw lasagna on a menu, I just asked, "What does lasagna mean?" The waiter explained, and suddenly, new options opened up for me.
And that's really how you become more comfortable eating out, by asking questions, getting answers, and not feeling embarrassed.
Exactly. I feel way more prepared now, and honestly, it's kind of fun exploring menus this way. Makes every meal a little adventure.
You know, eating out is supposed to be relaxing, but sometimes things just don't go as planned. Maybe your food arrives cold, or your drink is nowhere in sight. Awkward, right?
Totally awkward. I always feel nervous about what to say in those moments. But I guess it's all about being clear and still sounding nice. Like, starting with, "Excuse me," instead of just blurting it out.
Exactly. That little phrase does so much work. It gets the staff's attention in a friendly way and keeps things smooth. For example, "Excuse me, my food is cold," or "Excuse me, I didn't get my drink."
It's cool that you can be direct and polite at the same time. Actually, I've tried saying, "Excuse me, this isn't what I ordered," and it wasn't as scary as I thought.
See, most of the time, the staff appreciate it when you're clear but not demanding. And if you add a little, "Could you please help me?" or "Can I get a new one, please?" you sound extra kind.
That makes sense. Little words like please or could really soften things. Funny enough, I always worry about sounding rude even when I'm not.
Honestly, that's a super common worry. But English has all these gentle ways to bring up a problem, so it doesn't feel harsh. Words like maybe or I think work wonders.
It's so true. "Excuse me, I think there's a mistake," just feels much lighter than "this is wrong." Even something like, "Maybe this is someone else's order?" sounds softer.
Exactly, and don't forget, "Could you please check?" It's amazing how just one or two extra words can make a sentence feel so much friendlier.
I tried adding those in once, and the server actually smiled and thanked me for being polite. Little things like that make the whole meal nicer for everyone.
That reminds me, if your order's taking too long, the same rules apply. A gentle, "Excuse me, is my order coming soon?" works better than getting frustrated.
Oh, and what if something's wrong with the food itself, like it's too salty or spicy? I always get stuck there.
That's a good one. You can use, "Sorry, this is a little too salty for me," or "Sorry, this is a little too spicy." Adding "a little too" makes it sound gentle, not critical.
That feels so much kinder than just saying, "This is bad." I can see why people respond better to that.
For sure. And most servers will reply with something like, "I'm sorry," or "Let me fix that for you." It keeps things positive.
Let me try a quick review. "Excuse me, my food is cold." "Excuse me, I didn't get my drink." "Excuse me, I think there's a mistake." "Sorry, this is a little too spicy."
Perfect summary. Politeness really does make everything smoother at restaurants and everywhere else. So, ready to dive into the art of small talk at the table next? Emma, have you ever noticed how eating out is never just about the food? It's almost like the conversation is an extra course on the menu.
Definitely. Sharing a meal with friends is when some of the best little chats happen. Sometimes I'm more excited about what we'll talk about than what I'll eat.
Those chats are exactly what we call small talk. They're easy, friendly phrases that keep the mood light. Think of saying, "This tastes good," or "I like this soup."
Oh, I love that. Next time I try new pasta, I'm going to say, "This pasta is delicious." That just feels welcoming, and honestly, it makes the meal feel warmer somehow.
It really does. And if you want to include others, you could ask, "How's your food?" or "Is it tasty?" That way, everyone feels part of the conversation.
So if we're sharing a table, I might look over and ask, "Alex, how's your food?" That usually gets people smiling and talking more.
That actually reminds me, besides talking about the food itself, you can always chat about the place. A simple, "This place is nice," or "The music is good," works wonders.
I've tried that, saying something like, "The view is beautiful," or "The waiter is friendly" really helps break any awkward silence. It's like giving the whole experience a big thumbs up.
Exactly, and don't forget those polite little phrases like, "Could you pass the salt, please?" Or, "Can I have some water, please?" They might seem tiny, but they make everything feel a bit more polite and easygoing.
Oh, totally. Whenever I add a please or thank you, people seem more relaxed. Even if I want more food, saying, "Can I have some more, please?" sounds so much nicer than just asking for it.
Right, and when you're all done, a simple, "I'm full," or "That was great," is the perfect way to wrap up your meal conversation.
Now that you say it, ending with, "I really enjoyed it," or "That was delicious," always brings out happy faces around the table.
Last week, we got stuck on how to put all those phrases together. So let's try a quick example. Imagine we're at a restaurant. How would you start?
Let's see. "This food is delicious. How's your food?" That kicks things off and gets everyone talking.
Perfect, I might reply. "It's very good. The soup is tasty." And then you could follow up with something about the place, like, "I really like this restaurant."
Exactly. And then maybe, "Can I have some more water, please?" It's so natural once you string it together, and don't forget to say thank you when someone helps.
That's the magic when those simple words come naturally. You sound both friendly and confident.
I love it. Now I feel ready for my next meal out. But before we finish, maybe we should talk about how to ask for the bill and say goodbye when the meal's over.
All right, Emma. So we've chatted, eaten, and now the plates are empty, which means it's time for the bill. How do you feel about this part?
Honestly, Alex, it always feels a tiny bit awkward. Like, I want to be polite but also clear. What's the best way to ask for the bill without sounding too abrupt?
You're definitely not alone. Lots of people wonder about this. The go-to ways are, "Can I have the bill, please?" Or, if you're in the US, "Could you bring the check, please?" Both mean exactly the same thing.
That's interesting. So bill is more British and check is more American. I always mix them up. But both are polite if I add please, right?
Exactly. Just add a smile and "please," and you're golden. After the waiter brings it, a simple "thank you" does the trick. Easy and friendly.
You know, sometimes I panic about how to tell them I want to pay by card instead of cash. What's the right phrase for that?
Glad you brought that up. You can ask, "Can I pay by card?" Or, "Do you take credit cards?" They'll usually answer right away. And if you want to use cash, just say, "I'll pay with cash." Super straightforward.
Perfect. That clears things up. And what about if I'm out with friends and we all want to pay for our own meals? I've heard people say, "Can we pay separately?" Is that the go-to?
You nailed it. "Can we pay separately?" is exactly right, and most places are used to hearing it, especially with groups. Makes the end of the meal so much smoother.
That actually reminds me, sometimes waiters even ask, "Together or separate?" So now I know what they mean.
Exactly. Once you've paid, those final polite lines can really leave a nice impression. What do you usually say when you're wrapping up?
Honestly, sometimes I just mumble, but I want to get better at this. I suppose saying "thank you very much" or "have a nice day" is a good start, right?
Absolutely, those are perfect. And you'll often hear the waiter reply with something friendly like, "Thank you for coming." It's all about keeping things warm and polite till the very end.
Last time, I even tried practicing the whole ending at home, pretending to be both the customer and the waiter. It actually helped me sound more natural when I did it for real.
Love that approach. Practicing both sides definitely builds confidence. Plus, it's a fun way to prepare for your next restaurant adventure.
Now that we've gone through all of that, could we do a super speedy review? Sometimes I need that quick recap to help things stick.
Absolutely, we covered greetings, ordering, asking about the menu, handling little issues, making small talk, and finally, paying and saying goodbye. That's a full menu of English skills right there.
It really is. I feel like I could actually try all this in a real cafe now. Maybe I'll even invite some friends to practice together.
That's the spirit. The more you practice, the easier it feels, and soon all those polite phrases will come out naturally. Smile, speak slowly, and you're all set.